We are autonomous robotic organisms from the planet Cybertron.
Hey guys, you're watching Ascension Peak Physique, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about our philosophy here today. Well, mostly my philosophy. I am mostly a strength-oriented coach. I tend to focus toward compound multi-joint exercises, generally using a barbell. There's a fair amount of apprehension when I talk about barbell work, mostly from women, but from a fair amount of men too. The most common reason I hear from people about their apprehension is, they don't want to get bulky. One thing I want to clear up is people don't get bulky on accident. You're not just going to blow up overnight. That's just not how our bodies work. These are usually the same people who tell me that their goal physique is, lean and toned. I recently had a discussion about a common myth in fitness. The idea that low weight, high reps equals a ripped, shredded, or toned physique, and heavyweight, low reps equals big and bulky. This couldn't be further from the truth. Hypertrophy, muscle growth, is much more a function of diet in addition to training, rather than simply a function of how you train. Both of the weight and rep schemes will build muscle. However, without the calories to support it, your muscles will only get so big. In fact, most modern bodybuilders, people who are experts in the way of hypertrophy, muscle growth, use a combination of both of those weight and rep schemes to accomplish maximum hypertrophy. To further demonstrate my point, if you look at powerlifters whose main goal is strength, they're big, but typically not as big as today's bodybuilders. If we assumed the myth about heavyweight, low reps were true, that would mean that powerlifters would almost always be the bigger of the two competitors, which is rarely the case. Same goes for Olympic lifters. People who compete with the heaviest weights on the planet are generally smaller than their bodybuilding counterparts. Now, with all this being said, let's get back to how this pertains to you. I know I just got done talking about how, most people probably don't want to get big and bulky, and, here I am babbling about hypertrophy. Bear with me. If your goal is to look lean and toned, that involves building muscle. In fact, that should be one of your priorities if you are trying to lose unwanted fat. The less muscle you have, the lower your daily calorie intake needs to be in order for you to lose fat. For example, a woman who is 5'7", weighs 135 pounds, and works out 3 or less times a week requires about 1,275 calories. That same woman working out 3 or more times a week, carrying an additional 10 pounds of muscle, requires almost 1,600 calories. That's a significant difference. 1,600 calories is a much more manageable amount than 1,275. 1,275 is close to what a lot of people consume in 1 or 2 meals, especially if you typically eat fast food or eat out. Now, 10 pounds of muscle is a lot. That would take any beginner a year or a year and a half of consistent work to gain, especially for our example lady who is already quite small framed. Basically, if you're unhappy with how you look or feel, strength and muscularity are your main missing factors. Strength training is the most efficient overall method to the majority of physique goals. Whether you're trying to get large and muscular or lean and toned, strength training is your best bet. That's basically all I wanted to talk about today, so we'll keep it short. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in.
Roll out!